I used to think I knew what betrayal looked like. I thought I'd recognize it. The smell of someone else's cologne, the nervous glances, the sudden need for privacy. I thought if it ever happened to me, I'd see it coming. I was wrong. My name is Ryan, and for 5 years I believed I had the kind of marriage people envied. Jessica and I weren't perfect, but we were solid. We were partners. I worked in logistics, managing supply chains for a mid-sized distributor. She was in marketing, climbing the ladder at a tech firm downtown. We had plans, kids eventually, maybe a bigger house, vacations to places we'd only seen in magazines. We were building something, or at least I thought we were. The first crack appeared about 6 months ago, though I didn't recognize it as a crack at the time. Jessica started working late. Not occasionally, constantly. Monday nights became Tuesday nights, became entire weeks where I'd eat dinner alone, fall asleep alone, and wake up to find her side of the bed still made because she'd crashed on the office couch. Or so she said. Her text would arrive around 7. Big project, babe. Don't wait up. Another night. Another message. Boss needs this done by morning. Overtime pays well. For our future. For our future. I held on to those words like a lifeline. Because if it was for us, then the distance didn't matter, right? The missed dinners, the canceled weekend plans, the fact that we hadn't had love in over a month. All of it was justified if it meant we were building towards something better. But then the other changes started. Subtle at first. She began dressing differently for work. Sharper blazers, tighter skirts, heels I'd never seen before. She wore makeup to the office now, not just lipstick, but the full treatment. Contoured cheekbones, smoky eyes, that dewy foundation that made her skin look airbrushed. And perfume. Not the light floral scent she used to wear, but something heavier, more seductive. Something that lingered. When I asked about it, she laughed it off. I'm representing the company at client meetings now, she explained with a casual wave. I have to look professional. Professional. Right. The intimacy drought continued. When I'd try to initiate, a hand on her hip in the kitchen, a kiss that lasted longer than usual, she'd pull away with excuses. I'm exhausted, Ryan, she'd say, turning her face away. I have an early meeting, she'd murmur another time. Can we just cuddle tonight? She'd suggest softly. Except we didn't cuddle. She'd roll over, her back to me, her phone glowing under the covers as she typed messages she never showed me. I started noticing the phone thing more and more. She'd smile at texts she wouldn't let me see. She'd take calls in the other room, her voice dropping to a murmur I couldn't make out. And when I'd walk in, she'd end the conversation abruptly. Gotta go. Talk later, she'd say quickly into the phone. Then she'd look up at me with that same smile, bright, open, completely fake, and add, just work stuff. I wasn't stupid. I'd heard the stories. I knew the signs. Hell, I'd watched enough movies to recognize a cheating spouse when I saw one. But confronting her felt like admitting defeat. Like the moment I accused her, I'd already lost her. So I stayed quiet. I watched. I waited. And I hated myself for it. One night, after she left for yet another late project, I sat in the dark of our living room and made a decision. I wasn't going to ask her if she was cheating. I wasn't going to beg for the truth or plead for honesty. I was going to find out myself. And if she was lying, if she was betraying me, I wouldn't just walk away. I'd make sure she understood exactly what she'd destroyed. I pulled out my laptop and searched for GPS trackers. I found one with good reviews, discreet magnetic mount, real-time tracking, 2-day shipping. I ordered it without hesitation. No tears, no drama, just cold, calculated resolve. The package would arrive on Thursday. The tracker arrived in a plain brown box on Thursday afternoon, exactly as promised. Small, black, roughly the size of a matchbox with a strong magnet on one side. I held it in my palm during my lunch break, testing its weight, imagining where I'd place it. Under the car, near the rear wheel well, somewhere she'd never think to look. That evening, while Jessica was in the shower getting ready for another overtime shift, I went outside. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across our driveway. My hands were steady as I crouched beside her sedan and pressed the tracker firmly against the undercarriage. It locked into place with a soft click. I stood, brushed off my hands, and walked back inside like nothing had happened. She left at 6:40, kissed me on the cheek, light, perfunctory, the kind of kiss you give a roommate. "Don't wait up, babe," she said, grabbing her purse. "This one's gonna be a long night." I smiled back at her. "Good luck. I'll save you some dinner." The moment her car disappeared around the corner, I pulled out my phone and opened the tracking app. A small blue dot appeared on the map, moving through our neighborhood. I watched it navigate the streets, heading toward downtown where her office was located. For a moment, I felt stupid, paranoid. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe she really was just working late. Then the dot turned left instead of right, away from her office, toward the suburbs on the east side of town. My stomach dropped. I gave it 10 minutes. The dot stopped moving, parked on a residential street I didn't recognize. I grabbed my keys and drove. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat, but my hands didn't shake. My vision was tunnel-focused. I needed to see this. I needed to know. 15 minutes later, I pulled onto the street where her car sat in a driveway. A modest, single-family home. Neat lawn, porch light on, normal. Except nothing about this was normal. I parked a block away and walked, keeping to the shadows. The blinds in the front window were partially open, just enough. The lights inside were warm, golden. I crept closer, my breath shallow, my pulse hammering in my ears. And then I saw them, Jessica, in the bedroom, with a man. She was on top of him, her hair falling loose around her shoulders, her head thrown back in a way I hadn't seen in months, maybe longer. The man beneath her was older, mid-40s, fit, graying at the temples. I recognized him. I'd seen him once when I picked Jessica up from work, her manager, the guy she'd mentioned in passing. "Oh, Dave?" she'd said that day, so casually. "He's harmless. Just my boss." Harmless. I stood there, frozen, watching through that window like it was a screen, and this was someone else's life. Clothes scattered on the floor, his hands on her hips, her mouth on his, the way she moved, urgent, desperate, alive. I couldn't look away. I couldn't breathe. My first instinct was to kick the door in, to drag him out by his throat and make him bleed, to scream at her, to demand answers, to burn everything down right there. But then something stopped me. A voice in my head, quiet but firm. "Don't. Not yet. If you do this now, you lose. You look like the bad guy. You get arrested. She plays the victim. Think." I turned and walked back to my car. My legs felt like they weren't mine. I sat in the driver's seat, hands gripping the wheel, and just breathed. In, out, in, out. My chest was tight, my vision blurred, but I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't break. I pulled out my phone and opened the Notes app. I started typing. Evidence, timeline, names, dates, locations. I needed proof. I needed leverage. And more than anything, I needed her to feel exactly what I was feeling right now. Not just guilt, not just regret, humiliation, public, irreversible humiliation. I drove home, poured myself 3 fingers of whiskey, and sat at my laptop. I researched live streaming platforms, screen recording software, WhatsApp group settings, cloud storage for video evidence. I wasn't done. I was just getting started. For the next 2 weeks, I became a ghost in my own life. I smiled at Jessica over breakfast. I asked about her day. I kissed her goodbye like nothing had changed, and she bought it. Every single lie she swallowed whole. Why wouldn't she? I was playing the role of the oblivious husband to perfection, but behind the mask, I was building a case that would make a prosecutor weep with envy. Every night she left for overtime, I tracked her. Same house, same time window, usually between 7 and 10 p.m. I documented everything. Screenshots of the GPS data with timestamps, cross-references with her work calendar, which she synced to our shared Google account. Rookie mistake. I even installed a hidden camera app on an old tablet, propped it on my dashboard, and recorded video of her car arriving at the house, her walking inside, staying for hours. Irrefutable. I also pulled up her company's website and confirmed that her manager, Dave Richardson, was indeed listed as the senior director of marketing. Married, 2 kids. His LinkedIn showed family photos. His wife, Jennifer, blonde and smiling, holding their daughters on a beach somewhere sunny. I wondered if Jennifer knew. I wondered if she'd thank me later. But documentation wasn't enough. I didn't just want evidence, I wanted impact. I wanted the people she cared about, the people who thought she was a good girl, who believed she could do no wrong, to see exactly who she was, to witness it in real time, no spin, no excuses, just raw, undeniable truth. Jessica's family was tight-knit. Her parents, Linda and Robert, were traditional Catholics, the type who still went to Sunday Mass and believed in the sanctity of marriage. Her younger sister, Emily, idolized her. Her older brother, Henry, was protective, the kind of guy who'd throw punches first and ask questions later. They all thought I was lucky to have her, that I'd somehow won the lottery marrying their perfect daughter. I was about to shatter that illusion. I created a WhatsApp group but didn't send the invite yet. I titled it Family Emergency, vague enough to compel immediate attention. I added Linda, Robert, Henry, Emily, her 2 closest cousins, even her favorite aunt. 14 people total. I drafted the message, I need you all to see something. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. I didn't hit send. Not yet. I was waiting for the perfect moment. I also tested live streaming platforms. I created a burner account, streamed my own living room to make sure the video quality was clear, the audio worked, the link generated instantly. I practiced the timing. Start the stream, create the group, drop the link, wait. I even scripted potential responses. If anyone texted me during, I'd keep it short, calm, factual. I'd simply say, watch the video, you'll understand. No emotion, no hysteria, just cold, hard truth. The final piece was timing. I couldn't do this on a random Tuesday. It had to be a night when Jessica felt safe, when she thought I was clueless, when she'd let her guard down completely. So I waited. I watched her patterns. And then, finally, the opportunity came. Friday night. 3 weeks after I'd first discovered the affair. She told me she had a late project and wouldn't be home until 11. She even apologized. "I'm so sorry, babe," she said, touching my arm gently. "I know it's been a lot lately. I promise it'll slow down soon." I smiled back at her. "It's okay. I'll be here when you get back." She kissed me, another hollow, meaningless gesture, and left at 6:30. I gave her 20 minutes to make sure she was settled at Dave's house. Then I grabbed my phone, got in my car, and drove. I parked down the street from Dave's place, close enough to see the bedroom window but far enough to stay hidden. The lights were on. The blinds were cracked open, just like all the other times. I opened the live streaming app, angled my phone toward the window, and adjusted the zoom. I could see them clearly now. Jessica, Dave, kissing, undressing, moving together in that familiar, sickening rhythm. I took a breath. Then I hit Start Stream. 8:47 p.m., showtime. The video feed was grainy but clear enough. The camera captured the bedroom window perfectly, 2 figures silhouetted against the warm light, their movements unmistakable. I adjusted the zoom slightly, bringing their faces into sharper focus. Jessica, Dave, kissing, her hands in his hair, his hands on her waist, sliding under her shirt. The audio wasn't perfect, but it picked up enough. Faint laughter, the creak of the bed, a low moan that made my stomach turn. I stared at the screen for a moment, my thumb hovering over the WhatsApp icon. This was it, the point of no return, Once I sent this, there was no taking it back, no explaining it away, no damage control. Good. I opened WhatsApp, created the group, and added every contact I'd prepared. Linda, Robert, Henry, Emily, the cousins, the aunt, 14 people total. I typed the message. I need you all to see something. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. I pasted the live stream link. I hit send. 8:51 p.m. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the group exploded. Emily's message appeared first. What is this? Linda's message came next. Ryan, what's going on? What am I looking at? Then Henry. Is that Jessica? I didn't respond. I just watched the messages flood in, one after another, faster and faster. Robert's message was in all caps. Stop this! Stop this right now! Her Aunt Carol typed quickly. Oh my God! Oh my God! Is this real? Her cousin Sarah responded. I'm going to be sick. The messages turned frantic. Questions, denial, anger, horror. Linda was calling Jessica. Henry was calling Jessica. Emily was calling me. My phone buzzed non-stop in my hand, but I silenced it. I kept the stream running. On screen, Jessica's phone lit up on the nightstand. Once, twice, 3 times. She ignored it at first, too lost in the moment to care. But then it didn't stop. Buzz, buzz, buzz. She paused, confused, and reached for it. I watched, through the window and through the reactions flooding the group chat, as her entire world detonated. She unlocked the phone. Her face went white, completely, utterly white. She sat up abruptly, pulling the blanket over herself, staring at the screen like it had just delivered her death sentence. Dave was asking her what was wrong, his voice muffled through the glass. She didn't answer. She just kept scrolling, reading, her mouth open, her hands trembling. The group chat was a war zone now. Henry typed furiously, Where the hell are you right now? Robert's message was cold. You've disgraced this family. Linda's message came in all caps. How could you do this to Ryan? Emily's text was desperate. Jess, please tell me this isn't real. Please. Jessica finally answered Emily's call. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I could see her pacing, gesturing wildly, one hand pressed to her forehead. Dave was getting dressed now, looking spooked, asking her questions she wasn't answering. She kept shaking her head, tears streaming down her face. The messages kept coming. Her cousin Mark wrote, You always acted so high and mighty. Guess we know who you really are now. Aunt Carol added, I can't believe I defended you. I feel sick. Linda sent another message. I'm heartbroken. How could you do this? How could you throw away a good man like Ryan? Robert's final message was brutal. Don't come home. You're not welcome in this family anymore. Jessica was sobbing now, full-body sobs that shook her shoulders. Dave was trying to calm her down, but she pushed him away. She grabbed her clothes off the floor, pulling them on with shaking hands, her phone still clutched in one fist. I ended the stream at 9:14 p.m. 23 minutes of footage, more than enough. I took screenshots of the group chat. Over 200 messages now, most of them condemning her, some of them cursing her out, a few from Linda that just said, I'm heartbroken. I saved everything to the cloud. Then I drove home. I didn't speed. I didn't blast music. I just drove. Hands steady on the wheel, jaw clenched, my mind eerily calm. By the time I pulled into the driveway, my phone had 47 missed calls. I ignored all of them. I walked inside, locked the door, and started packing Jessica's things. Clothes, shoes, toiletries, makeup. Everything went into black trash bags. I worked methodically, room by room, until there was nothing left that belonged to her. I dragged the bags to the front lawn, 7 in total, and left them there in a neat pile. Then I changed the locks. It took me 40 minutes. By the time I finished, it was 10:03 p.m. At 10:41 p.m., Jessica's car pulled into the driveway. I watched from the window. She got out slowly, like she was moving through water, and stopped when she saw the bags. She just stood there, staring at them, her face pale under the streetlight. Then she walked to the door and tried her key. It didn't work. She tried again. Nothing. She started banging on the door. "Ryan! Ryan! Open the door! Let me explain!" she shouted, her voice breaking. I didn't move. "Please!" she screamed, her voice cracking. "I'm sorry! I'm so sorry! Just let me in! We can fix this!" I opened the door just wide enough to look her in the eye. My voice was calm, flat. "There's nothing to fix," I said evenly. "You're done. Get your stuff and leave." She tried to push past me, but I blocked her. "Ryan, please," she began desperately. I cut her off. "No, you don't get to talk. You don't get to cry. You made your choice. Now live with it." I closed the door. She stood there, screaming, pounding on the wood, begging, sobbing. "You ruined my life!" she wailed through the door. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. How could you do this?" I walked away. I didn't look back. Eventually, the pounding stopped. I heard her car start. She drove away. I sat on the couch in the dark, staring at nothing, the silence louder than anything she could have said. The next 72 hours were chaos, but I stayed in the eye of the storm. Jessica tried everything: texts, calls, emails. One message read, "Ryan, please, we need to talk. I made a mistake. I can change. Please don't do this." I blocked her on everything: phone, social media, email. I didn't want her explanations. I didn't want her apologies. I wanted her gone. But her family reached out. Linda called me the next morning, Saturday, crying so hard she could barely speak. "Ryan, I'm so sorry," she sobbed into the phone. "I had no idea. She's not who I thought she was." Her voice broke. "You deserved better. You deserved so much better." I thanked her for the call and made it clear I was done. "I appreciate that, Linda," I replied quietly. "But I can't stay in this marriage. I'm filing for divorce." "I understand," she whispered back. "I'm sorry for all of it." Robert sent a text later that day. It was short and direct. "You were a good husband. She threw it away. That's on her." Henry reached out on Sunday. His message was supportive. "You did the right thing, man. I can't believe she did that to you. If you need anything, a place to crash, someone to talk to, I'm here." Even Emily, who'd tried to defend Jessica at first, went silent after I sent her the full evidence: GPS logs, timestamps, video clips, screenshots of Jessica's lies. She responded hours later with just 3 words: "I'm so sorry." Jessica, meanwhile, was unraveling. She moved in with a friend temporarily, but word spread fast. The live stream link had leaked beyond the family group. Someone shared it, probably Henry or one of the cousins, and now people at her job knew. HR got involved. Jessica and Dave were both placed on administrative leave, which is corporate code for "we're building a case to fire you." Dave's wife, Jennifer, found out within 48 hours. I don't know who told her. Maybe someone from Jessica's family, maybe a coworker. But she knew. She filed for divorce immediately. She took the kids. She took the house. She took everything. Dave tried to contact me on Tuesday, 3 days after the live stream. His email was pathetic, offering money, begging me not to make this worse. I didn't respond. A week later, he quit and moved 2 states away. His wife wouldn't let him see the kids. His reputation was destroyed. He was done. Jessica's parents disowned her. Robert told her not to come to family gatherings anymore. Linda stopped answering her calls. Henry was disgusted. Emily was conflicted but ultimately sided with the family. Jessica was exiled, cut off, alone. She tried reaching out to mutual friends, but I'd already told them the truth. I'd shown them the evidence. No one wanted to get involved. No one wanted to be associated with her. I moved forward with the divorce. I hired a lawyer on Monday, filed the papers on Wednesday using the video and GPS data as evidence of adultery. In our state, infidelity affects asset division. Jessica's lawyer tried to negotiate, but my evidence was airtight. She had no leverage, no defense, nothing. The divorce was finalized 4 months later, in early March. She got nothing. No alimony, no split of my retirement, no claim to the house, which had been in my name from before the marriage. She signed the papers without a fight. She'd already lost everything else. I didn't celebrate, I didn't gloat, I just moved on. I went to work, came home, hit the gym, watched TV, went to bed. Friends checked in on me. "You doing okay, man?" they'd ask. "I'm fine," I'd answer. And in a way, I was. I wasn't happy, but I wasn't destroyed either. I was just numb. One Saturday afternoon in April, 2 months after the divorce was final, I was sitting in my backyard, drinking a beer, staring at the sky. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily popped up on the screen. "She's in bad shape. Just thought you should know." I read it, didn't respond, deleted it. I took another sip of beer. Jessica's downfall wasn't my responsibility. She'd made her choices. She'd lied. She'd cheated. She'd destroyed what we had. And when the consequences came, she couldn't handle them. That wasn't my problem. I leaned back in my chair, closed my eyes, and let the sun warm my face. For the first time in months, I felt light. It's been 6 months since the divorce was finalized. 6 months since I signed those papers and walked out of that courthouse a free man. I'm sitting in my living room on a Friday night, alone. The house is quiet. Too quiet sometimes. But it's my quiet. No lies. No betrayal. No pretending. I think about Jessica sometimes. Not because I miss her, but because I wonder if she ever really loved me, or if I was just convenient. A placeholder. Someone to pay half the bills while she figured out what she really wanted. I heard through the grapevine that she moved to another city, changed jobs, cut off contact with most of her old life. Good. She should. She burned every bridge she had. There's nothing left for her here. Some people think I went too far. A few mutual friends called me cruel, said I humiliated her unnecessarily. I don't care. She humiliated herself. I just made sure the right people saw it. And honestly, I'd do it again. Because the alternative, confronting her privately, giving her a chance to lie, to manipulate, to play the victim while I looked like the crazy, jealous husband, that would have destroyed me worse than the betrayal itself. This way, I controlled the narrative. I had the proof. I had the power. But power doesn't fill the empty side of the bed. It doesn't make the house feel less lonely. I'm not bitter exactly. I'm just realistic. I know trust is something I might never fully give again. I know the next woman I date, if there is a next woman, will have to deal with the fact that I've been burned, that I'll always be watching for the signs. And maybe that's not fair to her, but it's the reality I live in now. I'm not damaged. I'm just cautious, guarded. I've learned that love isn't enough if it's built on lies. That partnership means nothing if one person is only pretending. And that sometimes the only way to protect yourself is to burn the bridge before someone else can push you off it. Was it worth it? The live stream, the public humiliation, the scorched earth revenge. I don't know. It didn't make me happy. It didn't bring me peace. But it gave me something. Control. For those 23 minutes, I wasn't the victim. I was the one holding the cards. And when she came home that night crying, begging, trying to manipulate me one last time, I got to say no. I got to close the door. And that, in a messed up way, mattered. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not ashamed either. I did what I had to do to survive the betrayal with my dignity intact. And maybe that's all anyone can ask for, to walk away standing, even if you're walking alone. I finished my beer, set the bottle down, and leaned back on the couch. The TV is on. Some action movie I'm not really watching. My phone is on the coffee table, screen dark. No one's texting. No one's calling. And for the first time in months, that doesn't bother me. Because the silence isn't empty. It's clean. It's honest. It's mine. I think about the future. Maybe I'll date again. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll meet someone who makes me believe in love again. Or maybe I'll just focus on myself, my career, my hobbies, my peace. Either way, I'm not waiting for permission. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not looking for closure from anyone but myself. The movie ends. I turn off the TV. The room goes dark except for the glow of the streetlight outside. I stand, stretch, and walk to the window. The neighborhood is quiet. The street is empty. Somewhere out there, Jessica is living with the consequences of her choices. And somewhere in here, I'm living with mine. I don't know if I won. I don't know if there's such a thing as winning when a marriage ends. But I know this. I didn't lose myself. I didn't become the victim. I didn't let her rewrite the story. And maybe, in the end, that's the only victory that matters. I turn away from the window, head to bed, and close the door behind me. Tomorrow, I'll wake up, go to the gym, go to work, live my life. Because that's what you do when the war is over. You don't celebrate. You don't mourn. You just keep moving. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling in the dark, my breathing steady, my mind finally, mercifully, quiet. No regrets, no second guessing, just the cold, hard knowledge that I survived. And sometimes, survival is enough.